Welcome, everyone. This is the Friday edition, January 21st, NBA Triple Double Show, powered by the Predictive Playbook and presented to all of you by SportsMemo TV. I am your host, John Ryan, of course, and I'm always joined by my good friend and professional sports bettor, Ronald Cabang. And we're going to try to repeat what we did on Wednesday in this show. On that show, we went 3-0, which was great because we went 0-3 on Monday for the first time in the show's history, which is spanning now 22 shows. We are back up above the 70% level in our plays over the last 21 shows. So congratulations to us, Ronald. Nothing like a sweep, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to get right to it with 3 games today. And the first game we're looking at is the Philadelphia 76ers at home on a rather longish homestand, one of the longest ones of the season. This is at the Wells Fargo Center. They are hosting the vastly depleted Los Angeles Clippers. They are a shell of what we thought they would be preseason due to all the injuries. Unfortunately for them and their fan base, but that's an opportunity here for the Philadelphia 76ers, who really seem to be rolling. They're favored in this game at 8.5 points. I like them as long as they're not a double-digit favorite, at which point I would have to probably put a comment in the comment section whether we're still valid or not. Nevertheless, I think it's going to be a valid bet no matter what. I don't see it going to double digits. The Sixers are 5th best record in the Eastern Conference, trailing the division rival Brooklyn Nets. They would be considered a wild card if the playoffs ended today, but they would be the first one. They would be the strongest of the wild cards, which is very good position. They are 22-21-1 against the spread for the season, 25-17 to the under. Clippers are 2 games under 500. It's just unimaginable that would have been someone's prediction for this team before the season started. They're 21-25 against the spread. The total for this game is also 213 points, so we're expecting a Sixers defense to really apply the screws to the depleted Clippers, I think, Ronald. Points allowed per game, the Sixers are 5th best in the NBA, 105.7. Field goals attempted per game, they tend to play at a pretty slow pace when Embiid's on the floor. They actually only average 85.1. That ranks 30th. Field goal percentage, however, they are 9th best at 46%. 3-point attempts per game, they don't really rely on that. They rely on Embiid, and they rely on Embiid also to make 3-pointers, but he does his damage in the paint, and I haven't seen anybody yet single-handedly defend him. And once he gets into that box, it's over. Even if you double team, it's over. So in this game, Ronald, I think I really, really like the Sixers here to win this. And if you told me they won by 20 later tonight, I would not be surprised for a second. What do you think of that bet, and do you see any other opportunities in this game?
No, I agree with you. The Sixers, they're playing well right now. Embiid's playing really great. There's a lot of talk about him possibly be in the MVP
Sure.
leaders, one of the MVP leaders. The Clippers, they rely on Paul George, and he's been out a lot. He's been out for a while, and they've been struggling without him. They've come up with a couple wins here or there, but Reggie Jackson's kind of like the main guy when Paul George is out. And the 76ers, they play well against the point guards, and if he struggles tonight, I can't see the Clippers doing well at all.
And the Sixers have won 8 out of 10, Ronald. Inexplicably, they have lost to the Washington Wizards on the road by 19. That was on January 17th, earlier this week. And the other game was Charlotte at home, a 109-98 clunker, in which Embiid scored over 31 points in that game. And he is putting together an MVP season. He tied the franchise record for Philadelphia with 8 consecutive games of 30 or more points, held by Allen Iverson and a guy a long time ago, Wilt Chamberlain. That's 2 pretty good Philadelphia names to be tied to. So I think we're in agreement here that the Sixers are at least going to be a lean, and we'll do our best bets at the end of the show. Our second game here, and Ronald, I'm going to let you break this one down if it's all right with you. This is taking place at the Vivint Arena, Vivint. These names keep changing. Nevertheless, it's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is the date for the Detroit Pistons, who are not very good. They're 14th in the Eastern Conference, going up against the Jazz, who are one of the better teams in the Western Conference and all of NBA for that matter. They're 29-16. 20 and 24 against the spread, 23 and 21 over under, 14 and 9 at home is not all that good. 28 and 15 as a favorite. They're going against the Pistons, 11 wins on the season, and they're 4 and 19 away. Where do you think the opportunity lies in this matchup?
Yeah, I'm looking at the total in this one. The Pistons are coming off a win against the Sacramento Kings where they put up 133 points and they shot 50 over. I think it was over 50% or right at 50% from the field. I'm expecting a huge letdown spot here for the Pistons, who are still dead last in this league in offensive rating this season, even after that performance where they put up all those points. A trend here to mention. The Pistons are 5-1 to the under on the road against teams with a winning record, and the total is greater than 210. So when there's points expected and they're playing a tough team, usually I think they struggle offensively, and that's why the number usually go under to in those games. The Jazz are coming off an embarrassing loss to the Rockets as double-digit favorites. Excuse me.
It's okay.
And they've really struggled against teams as double-digit favorites this season. Seems like they tend to play down to their opponent's level at times. And they're also 5-2 to the under this season against teams with a record under 35%. So that's kind of like what I mean about them playing down to their opponent's level. And they're 6-3 to the under at home against Eastern Conference teams this season. I think the Jazz they get back defensively to their top tier defense in this game, and the Pistons have a huge letdown game offensively. I think this game goes under.
I'm with you, and I have a question here for you. This is something that I'm eyeing up. First quarter scoring per game, the Utah Jazz are the best in the NBA at 29.3. The Pistons are 28th at 24.6. The Pistons' first quarter defense ranks 26th, allowing 28.1 per game or per quarter, per first quarter. And the Utah defense is allowing 26.7 points per first quarter, and that ranks 8th in the NBA. WagerTalk.com/odds page, which I think is the best odds page in the world. You get all the major sports books right in front of you to compare. They have Utah first quarter line as -4.5, -104 over at Pinnacle. That seems rather tasty to me. Do you necessarily agree with that, or am I reaching here?
I don't know. I mean, like I mentioned, they've kind of been struggling with against teams as double-digit favorites this season, and I think with them always looking to play down to their opponent's level, sometimes I mean look at the Pacers and the Warriors yesterday, right? They sometimes these top tier teams look over these lower end teams and they get surprised for a second. I think for me, just because the Jazz got beat by a by a team as double digit favorites, in their last game, maybe they come up a little bit more hot in this game, but I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on to our third and final game. This is the contrarian. I love contrarian bets. I really do. And as you will see, folks, this is definitely contrarian. Brooklyn Nets, third in the Eastern Conference, first in their division, are taking on the San Antonio Spurs, who are 12th in the Western Conference. The Spurs are surprisingly, I think, 11 games under 500, 17 and 28, but they're 24 and 21 against the number. The over-under has gone in almost an even 22-21 with two pushes. The Nets are 28 and 16 on the season. They are 18 and 26 against the spread. The over-under 21 and 23. So the market, since the mad rush of all those unders hitting 65% for the first 30 days of the season, is now been equalized with a lot of overs recently. But this over-under, I believe, is at 235. I'm going to check the Wager Talk odds here just real quick because I think it moved since we actually started the show. No, 233.5 I have. It opened at 235. So it's trending down. And so it's not all that contrarian of a play based on the market movement. But anytime Brooklyn is involved in a game, it's hard to bet the under. Anytime San Antonio, who plays incredibly fast-paced, I believe Ronald, they are ranked number one, I think, in terms of pace of play in the NBA this year. It's certainly top three, right?
Yeah,
So
it would seem so.
I am definitely going with the under in this matchup. As long as it stays above 230. As long as it's above 230, I think we're going to have a pretty good chance of winning this. Another alternative strategy, which I love to do 50% of your normal bet size. So if you bet $100 per game, put 50 on the under pre-flop before the game starts. And then you look for higher numbers. In my particular case, I mapped it out, and it's based on a statistic from Wall Street that I learned a long time ago. It's called implied volatility, and it's used in option analysis, but it's also been tweaked by yours truly for the NBA. So specifically, given the total of 233 points right now, the implied volatility is going to be much greater than if this total was lined at, say, 210. So the numbers that are above 230 definitely offer greater scoring volatility during the games. So what you'll do is you'll take 233 for 50% pre-flop, and then look to add 237.5 under for $25, and then lastly 241.5 for $25 more to complete your normal bet size. And you only do it for the first half. If those levels do not get executed in the betting markets, then you stick with your 50%. And what that implies is that the game is going under to that point, that you didn't get a chance to get the higher numbers. So, that's one of my favorite strategies. Do it in all the sports, the NFL, but mainly NBA, Ron, because it's definitely the most volatile sport there is.
Mm-hmm.
You have any other insights on this matchup?
No, I agree with you. I think the under is a good play here. I think a lot of teams are looking at the Spurs as an over team at home just because of how well they've been doing offensively at home this season. But their last 3 home games actually have gone under, so they're trending the other way now. So I mean, I could see it definitely going under. Maybe the totals has kind of peaked at some point, and now they're starting to go under the number that they're being set at.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. So for our best bets, I guess tell me if I'm wrong. It seems like it's pretty obvious we're going under in the Nets matchup. We're also going on the bet on the 76ers, and then under the total in the Detroit Pistons versus Utah Jazz game.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are our 3 best bets. We're now back at 70% winners. We just need to keep going 2-1. A little bit longer, Ronald. We're more than halfway through the NBA season. It would be pretty cool if we could even finish above 65% for the season. That would be truly outstanding. Compliments to ourselves, and I'm sure everybody out there likes the fact that we're winning these bets, and that's why the show is growing so fast. So, Ronald, as always, thank you for your time. Thanks to everyone out there for watching the show. Make sure you take a second to subscribe. I know myself, sometimes I forget to subscribe to some of the shows I enjoy. And then, goes on to the next day, well, I'll subscribe tomorrow. Well, just take a moment, do it now, get it over with, and hit the bell so you're notified of when we release every show and every sport that we do at SportsMemo TV. So have yourself a great Friday, and more importantly, a great weekend with the NFL divisional showdowns that are taking place. It's sure to be a tremendous Saturday and Sunday of NFL action. We look forward to seeing you again on Monday for the next edition of the NBA Triple Double Show. And until then, remember, always bet with your head, not over it. And may all the wins be yours.